last several weeks I've been using the New Balance Fresh Foam Zante as my daily trainer, and it turned out to be a little bit of a mixed bag. I still overall like them, but there's a few things that are important to know about. This shoe is very much in the same vein as a lot of my trainers have been lately, in that they're lightweight, low heel drop, and nice kind of that mixed foam that's both responsive and cushy. So I'll just kind of go over my initial impressions and then talk about some of the issues I have with the shoe. So when I first put these on, I actually took these out of the box and ran for it was like a middle range long run, so like 15 miles, 16 miles, something like that. And I really liked them at that time. Like I said, they're very lightweight. The upper is very breathable. And one thing I noticed right away is that there's this very kind of firm feeling around your midfoot. And at first I thought, ooh, that's kind of interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out. I was a little worried about it, that might, cause some issues for me. But actually, I had no issues with it at all. It really helps that foot from sliding forward, I think. But so yeah, that was one thing I just noticed right away. Something to be aware of. There is this sock liner, and it definitely hugs that middle foot, for good or bad. It's a very responsive shoe. It's not very flexible, as you can see. It's pretty firm. A little bit more in the forefoot, but yeah, in the rear, I mean, it's really firm. Side to side, you can hardly twist it. So depending on what you like, that may be a good or bad thing. One thing I like about the shoe is the shoelaces are kind of like this corrugated fabric that makes it seems to really help keeping the shoelaces tied and not having them come loose. So that's one thing I really like. They feel real grippy, and they don't slide apart. So that's one thing I really like. Again, like I said, the forefoot is very breathable. One thing that that can be a good or a bad thing. Like right now, I'm actually using these in January and December so far, and so one thing to be aware of: if you step in snow, you can probably tell that this is discolored here from me running in muck and stuff like that. So not necessarily a great winter shoe. It's very the water will go right through the upper, so that's something to be aware of. They do feel like a nice, fast, up-tempo kind of a shoe because of that firmness and responsiveness in the sole. One little positive about winter running is the sole actually has this kind of interesting pattern of having bigger lugs up in the forefoot and then smaller lugs as you go further back. And I think that actually provides pretty good training, like through snow and stuff like that. Not necessarily, if you're going to be running on glare ice, but actually has pretty good grip. I haven't had any problems with slipping or anything like that. I've run through some pretty gnarly weather lately outside, and so that part of it is a positive. But again, if you're going to really be running through deep snow or soggy, wet ground, you can expect that to leak through and get into your socks. I've definitely had that experience. The other thing that is, I think, is a pretty big negative to me is I've gotten black toenails. I think just because the shoe tapers so to such a point here. My front toe has plenty of room. I have a full thumb's width before my big toe, but my other toes hit right up against this, and I've actually got black toenails on both toes on my right foot, and sort of halfway black toes on my left foot. Maybe not exclusively due to these shoes, but I can definitely feel that. Like I just put them on and I can just feel my second and third toes up against this. And to kind of demonstrate that, you can see pretty drastically here. This is another trainer I've been using, the Nike Free, and you can see the overlap there, how much difference you have to the side in the forefoot. And these shoes definitely feel more comfortable to me across those toes. These, I can feel those toes up against there. So that's something to be aware of if you have a wider foot. If you've had that kind of problem before, just the toe seems a little too pointy for me. It's a little weird to me that I guess there is a lot of variety in people's foot sizes, but it just seems weird to me that, you know, that's a continues to be a problem for some people. But yeah, so that's one thing to be aware of. You might either want to go up a half a size to give yourself more room in those toes. I got these in my normal running size, so these are size 11s. So that's one thing just to consider, I guess. Maybe try them on, see how that feels, and maybe even go up half a size. Try that out. I haven't tried the half a size up approach, obviously. I've only got this one pair, but the other thing I should say is these are the version 1s. There's also a version 2 out. I haven't used those, so I can't really give you any comparison. I think there were generally people like the version 1 more than version 2 from a real quick view of other reviews and things like that, but this is the version 1 as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, I really like these. I got these for real cheap. They were on, the reason I bought them is they were cheap on Running Warehouse. I needed a new trainer, and they seemed right in that same type of shoe. I wanted to kind of try them out, but probably would not get these again, or maybe I would try to get up a half size and see if that helps my toe issue. But it's definitely a shoe to consider. It's very lightweight. Seems to be very durable. That's another thing I didn't talk about. It's held up pretty well, 200, 300 miles. I expect these are going to be very durable, but just that toe issue is kind of a you know, deal breaker if you don't like black toenails for sure. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully that's helpful to you. I'll be back. I actually had a cool video I've done. I got a GoPro recently, but my editing software doesn't like the 60 frames per second, so I'm still trying to figure out a way I can get that film together, post that out. I'd like to do a few more training videos and things like that, so I'm working on that. I got a busy schedule and stuff, but stay tuned. I'll be back with more content, more shoe reviews, more race reviews. Training up for my marathon in about 2 months from here, so that's getting real close now, unbelievably. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll be back.